Gimel, Vehine, Kol Bechino Madrega Mishalosh Elu, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. Each one of these levels of the soul, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, Klula Me'eser Bechinos, is composed of 10 concepts, 10 aspects. Keneged Eser Sfiros, and these 10 aspects correspond with the 10 Sfiros, the building blocks of creation, the attributes that Hashem created within himself, with which he interacts and creates the world. Shenishtal Shlomihen, that the souls were graded and were formed from these 10 Sfiros that were the source of them, Hanichlakos Lishtaim. And these 10 are divided into 2 ideas. Shen Shalosh Imos V'Sheva Kfulos, that is 3 mothers and 7 doubles. Perush Chochma Bina V'Das, that is to say, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. V'Shivas Yemei Binyan, and the 7 days of creation of the building. Chesed Gvura Tiferes Chulu, which are kindness, strictness, and beauty. Now, in order to understand this language of 3 mothers and 7 doubles, you have to recognize that it comes from Sefer Yetzirah, Perek Aleph Mishnah Beis, which says Eser Sfiros Blima, that there are 10 Sfiros without what? Vesrimushtaim Osios, and 22 letters. Yisod are the foundation. Shalosh Imos V'Sheva Kfulos, you have 3 mothers and 7 doubles. Ushtemesh Esrei Pshutos, and 12 simple. So now this Mishnah is a continuation of what it says in the first Mishnah, that there are Lamed Beis Nesivos Chochma, that there are 32 paths of wisdom, and so it's explained that that's the 10 Sfiros with 22 letters makes up 32. So the Ravid, in his Perush on this, explains that the 3 mothers are the letters Aleph, Mem, and Shin, and the 7 doubles are the letters Beged Kaporis, that you have that you can have a dagesh in them. So they have a dagesh and a rafa, as is known. A rafa is also has a siman, a line over the letters. Pshutos, that's the 12 letters that don't have, and those are the other letters. So, but the way the Arizal explains it, so the Ravid also says that the 12 Pshutos also are the 12 names of combinations of the letters of Hashem's name, the 12 months, the 12 astrological signs. So, but the Alter Rebbe is going according to the Arizal. That the Arizal says that the 3 mothers are Chochma Bina Das, and the Sheva Kfulos, the 7 doubles, are the Midos, and the Midos, you have Din and Rachamim, and the Din is the Malchus in each one of the 7 attributes, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisod. And the 12 simples are because all the attributes come in general from the concept of Tiferes. The Arizal says this in his Perush on Sefer Yetzirah. So since all the midos come from Tiferes, if you have 2 for each sphera other than Tiferes, so that makes up 12. So that's the idea, that because the emotions work with each other. This is the concept of the world of tikkun, where tikkun is where the emotions interact with each other and aren't just midos for themselves, but are so to speak doubled with din and rachamim. Therefore, they're called doubles. Whereas the 3 mothers are the concept of your mayim eish, or so that's aleph mem shin, or sometimes it's omer, like yom liyom yabia omer is eish mayim ruach, And then so he says that the Ravid says they're double because Avir Mayim Eish are interact with each other. That the Avir is composed of Mayim and Eish, and the Mayim is composed of Avir and Eish, and the Eish is composed of the Avir and Mayim, and they interact with each other in a general way also, maybe the Afar. So that's the seventh aspect for in that regard. But at any rate, that's the idea of Sholosh Imos, is that they're called mothers because these three letters, Aleph Mem Shin, represent this general concept and of Chesed and Rachamim. That's the Makor for all the Midos. And if you want to know more about the concept of Omer, you can see in the Alter Rebbe's Perush Hamilos. He goes at length about it. So that's the Midos. So Haseichel Kol Chachma Bina Das. So back in Tanya, that says that the intellect is composed of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. V'amidos and Avas Hashem Upachto V'yiraso Lefaruchu. And the emotions are the love of Hashem and the fear of Him, and trepidation, and to find beauty in Him, and so forth. The Chabad Nikrau Imos Mekor Midos, and the Chabad are called the mothers and the source for the emotions, Ki Amidos and Toldos Chabad, because the emotions are the offspring of the Chochmah Bina Das. So the idea then is that the mind rules the heart, and that's the Aleph of Chassidus, that Hamoach Shalit Alalev, and this is the Perek where that's expressed. First expressed that the emotions are born from the intellect. Ubira Enyan, and to explain this matter, Ki Hine Aseichel Shebenefesh HaMaskeles, the intellect and the soul that understands, you are maskil kol davar, that has that understands anything, nikra b'shem chachma. That's called chachma, koachma, the ability of what? And when that intellect intellect actually understands something, to take that understanding and contemplate on it, to understand something to its richness and depth, from an idea. The point is that it's a point of an idea. The chachma is where it starts as a point of intellect, or it's compared to a spring of water that starts out just as a small trickle because it's as one potent point of flow. So when you take that and you have the rechovas hanahar as that spring becomes a river that's bina, thinking about it at length and at width and depth. As explained in Shar HaYichud from the Alter Rebbe. And these are the mother and the father. So the Chachma and the Bina then are the mother and the father. Like he said before, that they're Sholosh Imos. Hamolidus Avas Hashem Viraso Pachto, that gives birth to the love of Hashem and the fear of Hashem and the trepidation. Yira is in the mind and Pachad is in the heart, as it's explained in Torah. Or because the intellect and the soul that understands, when it contemplates and goes at depth in the greatness of Hashem, and contemplates on the concept of Soviv and Memale, Mamali and Soviv, how Hashem fills all creation and encompasses all creation, and in front of him nothing is considered. So these are three levels. Memale, so to speak, the creation has a place. It's the concept of Bittul Yesh. The Hashem, as he fills creation, he's in the creation. The creation is there and he fills it. Sovev is beyond the creation. It's how the creation is, so to speak, so small to him that he encompasses it all. And the third level, is Bittul B'Metzius. It's complete nullification, where the creation isn't even there because it's not considered at all. So those are three levels, one over the other. So when you think about, contemplate on these three fundamental ideas, and you can awaken the attribute of the fear of Hashem's height, exaltedness in your mind and your thought, to fear and be embarrassed from Hashem's greatness. This is the pinnacle of fear, the highest level of fear. And you can be embarrassed because there's in general 2 levels of fear and 2 levels of love, but as the goal of fear is to reach this, is not to be afraid of punishment, but to be embarrassed in front of Hashem. That Hashem's greatness does not have an end. And he says right here also, the fear is in the mind and thought, and the pachad, that kind of fear is in the heart. Vishuv yislayev libo ba'ava azar kadish be'esh. And also, when you have this fear, then your heart will also feel and be aroused with flames, with a love that are like flames of fire. V'chashika v'chafitza, with desire and longing, v'chuka, v'nefesh shokeka. So that's 4 different types of desire. L'gdulas ein sof baruch hu, to the greatness of the infinite may be blessed. V'hi klos hanefesh, and that's the expiration of the soul. K'tichsiv, like it's written, nechsafa v'gam kalsa nafshi v'gomer, my soul desires and also expires. Uksiv tzama nafshi lelukim v'gomer, and it says, so that's another concept of klos hanefesh. And then we have another concept here of thirst in the soul. My tzama nafshi lelukim v'gomer, my soul thirsts for Elokim. Uksiv tzama lecha nafshi v'gomer, and it says, my soul thirsts for you. V'atzimon miyusod ha'esh, and the thirst, that comes from the fundamental element of fire. So we said before that the animalistic soul is composed of 4 elements. But we see that it's also, you can divide the divine soul into these ideas as well, that the desire in the way of fire that's the fundamental element of fire. Who believes? So that because the fire is in the heart, and the source of water and liquid is in the mind. And so it's known that the mind's liquid. So this is part of the idea of the mind ruling the heart. That if the flames of fire of the heart can be properly toned down with the water that's in the mind, where we can, in this case, we have the one type of love that comes from the heart and one type of love that comes from the mind. Like it says in Eitz Chaim from the Arizal, that the concept of water is the idea of Chachma. That's called water. Maim shebenefesh elukis, that's in the divine soul. V'shar midos kulan, So that's the idea, is that fire and water are the general fundamental elements, and all the other attributes in anfi hayira v'ha'ava v'toldosehin are offshoots of love and fear, and their offspring, like it says in another place. So he doesn't explain the avir and the afar, the wind and the earth in the divine soul, because in general the concept of fire and water are the general concept of the emotions of and so that's Chochmah and Bina that give birth to the emotions. But what's Das then? It's from the language of that Adam knew Chava. He was intimate with her. So, but this is Hu Lashon Hiskashus. That means to say he attached himself to her. So Yada is the mind, as it not just understands something but attaches itself to an idea. Lashon Hiskashus, tying, Vischabrus, and uniting, Shemekasher Daito. That's when a person ties their knowledge, Bekesher Amitz V'Chazak, with a very strong knot, Me'od, very much so, Vizka Machshavto, Bechoze Bedulas Ein Sof Baruch Hu, and has a constant attachment of his thought to the greatness of the Infinite may be blessed. Menu Masiach Daito, he doesn't take his mind off it. So that's Das. Das is when you it's something that you recognize and know because you're constantly attached to the idea and thinking about it. It's like somebody who obsesses about something that they care about, to the point where it becomes real to them. Because someone who's wise and understanding with Chachma and Bina and in the greatness of the Infinite may be blessed. If the person does not tie their mind, their das, and set their thought to constantly think about it with a strength and a constancy, you will not be able to awaken in your soul true fear and love. But only worthless imaginings. They won't be real emotions. And therefore, if Chochmah and Bina give birth to the emotions, the Das keeps it there and makes it real. And it's their life. And Das is composed of the Chesed and Gvura. Das is divided into two, as we know by the tefillin, that you have 4 parshios, and they correspond with the Chochmah and Bina and Chesed and Gvura. And the Chesed and Gvura are the as Das is divided into Chesed and Gvura, because Das has Trein Itrin, it has 2 crowns, the crown of Chesed and the crown of Gvura, as you can see in the head tefillin, that it comes out on 2 sides, like a crown. So that's as Das divides into Chesed and Gvura, and the straps go onto the heart and so forth. So that's it becomes from the mind into the emotions. And so in Das you have only these 2 emotions, and that's because it includes all the other emotions in it, love and all of its offshoots, and fear and all of its offshoots. So that's a description then of the Chabad, the intellect in the mind, and that the soul is composed of, and the emotions, the other 7 doubles, the emotions that are, like he said, it's double because it's composed of Chesed and Gvura. Like the Arizal says, so that's what the soul is composed of, the 10 spheres divided into 2 ideas of intellect and emotions,